Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a great rack. I have dithiol with the blank as a T. So hopefully that will be playable. I think lithoid may also be good. Dithiol taking an S. While my opponent is waiting to play, I'll scan through the alphabet for sevens. I would have chili dog through a C or a G. That's the chili dog play onto a G. Not seen anything else yet. I could be missing ones because I'm going fairly fast. That's dithiol and possibly lithoid. Okay, so that's all I've seen. My opponent taking a while with his opening move. He might be about to bingo himself, and if he does, that could easily obstruct dithiol. However, if he bingos, he will be providing 7 floaters, so I'm optimistic I'll be able to play. Right, he has played. Plod only takes an S after it. Dithiol does play in rows G and I. Now, lithoid plays in row I, but I'm not totally sure of it. I am totally sure of dithiol. Lithoid 72, that is a much better play. Dithiol stops 1 square short of the triple lane. I think lithoid is good. Do I play it? Yes. And if it stays on, I have drawn the second blank. I've also got Q and U together, which is good. Just waiting to see if this gets challenged. It'll be annoying if it comes off, because my opponent may then prevent me from playing elsewhere. Now, if it stays on, I'm looking to play the Q as soon as possible in order to bingo using my blank. I've got quat on my rack. I don't think I've got a bingo 7 or 8 letters with this rack. Quittage isn't good, otherwise that would play in column 3. I can't see anywhere for quat. I do have Q80 on my rack, but I don't really want to keep G and U if I can avoid it. I could play quad in column 8 for pretty much the lowest possible score. What else can I do? Plod only takes an S. Quag is good. Po takes an A in front. Qualt not good. Well, I guess I have quit in column 3, which does burn the Q, the U, and one of the T's. Great, so lithoid stays on. My opponent provides another U. I'm close to true card, but not close enough. So I can't play to the right of rostrum. Nothing goes after the R that I've got. I can't play through the M. If I play through the U, I'll be keeping a U on my rack. So maybe quit is best. 23 points. Rack leave okay. And I'm keeping the board open. I'm not using up any of the floaters in rostrum, and I want the board to be open while I've got a blank. But am I missing something better here? It's going to be hard to play off the Q, U, T and G, so I think I will go with this. Just pausing them because, of course, quit does take an E afterwards, so I'm providing an easy spot in row K for my opponent to score. Now, I've drawn well. I've got negates, which plays in column 11. And also in row M, pluralizing rostrum. Do I have a play in column 8 ending OD? Unlikely. What about a play beginning something OD? Nothing I can see. And there's the 4-timer row in row K. And there could be something here. The U would need to be in second last or third last position. Gauntry doesn't work. Well, Gauntry plays, but it's not a double-double. Okay, so I can't see a double-double. If my opponent doesn't put an E on the end of quit, I can. Quit also takes an S in front. But that any play there won't get doubled. However, it will score with the Q. However, a row K play is going to score more, and if my opponent puts an E on the end of quit, then the S front hook disappears. Okay, so he hasn't put an E on the end. Do I have some form of massive overlapping play? Unlikely, because Poi would have to take an S. And negates and Sangeet, neither works. If I play negates in column 11, I'm opening up row A. If I play negates in row M, well, it doesn't get doubled, but of course I get all the score from rostrum, which is effectively going to be the same as playing in column 11. And I'm placing the T under the double letter square. So let me see what this scores. 68. Can I score more? Well, I don't think I can. So I will go with this. And another good pickup, I have Pelagic, which takes an S. Nowhere for that at the moment. So what are the floaters? Well, pretty much just the R of rostrums. Can't see anything through that. Lithoid takes nothing at the front. I can't think of any 8s with this rack apart from Pelagics. So slightly annoying that my 7-letter bingo is blocked. The U of rostrums available. Nice play by my opponent, 42 points, and not giving anything away. And my lead, despite bingoing twice, is a miserable 10 points. And I've got a tricky rack. So, what to do? My I can go on the end of, can go next to the Q. So, do I have an I something T play? An IPT? Can't see anything. This is a tricky rack to deal with because it's very bingo-y. So I'd like to play off only a few tiles. But I can't see anywhere good to score. I played tip. Only 15 points. Surely I can do better than that. My P can go next to the U. So I could play PI. I don't like keeping C and G. So what about playing Capi down here? The C obstructs parallel plays. 27 points is quite good. Rack leave pretty poor. Equite is not good. I think it's just equites. Otherwise, Pelagic would play. 27 points. Gel cap is good as a 6-letter play. Well, I think I'm going to go with this. 27 is a lot more than 15. Not good, but just the sort of rack you can pick up when you keep a poor rack leave. It's nice to see the X, it's nice to see the S, but I'd like more vowels. However, there are two good vowels. There's the A of Cappy and the U of Rostrum's right next to double word squares. But I'm going to struggle to play off the X and one of the G's. I would need an O for Gox, and there isn't one. And keeping two G's is not good. However, I may have to. I was going to say hex, but there isn't a floating E. Unless I'd play through the E of negates. But that's then opening up a nice scoring spot for my opponent, so I suspect I can do better. Well, hex, re, and ox is certainly better. Galax through two A's. That's not going to happen. Cappy has opened up quite a hot three-letter lane for a something N word. Both H's have gone, so the CH hook can't be used. Now, what about playing hag, H-A-double-G, and holding the X back? That has some merit. The rack leave of ELSX is pretty good. Quite takes a D and an S. Hex also plays under negates, but that's not a great play. It doesn't get doubled, and X takes an O after it. So, what's better, hex in column 11 or hag in row E? So, hag, 18, 37 for hex. I think hex is clearly better, despite the ropey rack leave. Kif, I'm not sure if that takes an S. Well, that's going to be a problem for another play. It's a shame I'm using the H because I have the H for going next to the C. However, 37 points is a lot. Is it the most? My opponent's play has not provided anything good. Yep, I'm going with this. 37's a lot. Not good. However, I can sort it out if the A remains available with waggle. That would be quite nice. And my opponent may be drawn to column 1. This is quite a hot spot if you've got two vowels. E, I, and O going in front of F. Now, what if waggle is blocked? Do I have anything through the U? And I certainly do want to play off two out of GGW. And I can't see anything through the U, which is annoying. GLEW, not good. But column 12 may distract my opponent, leaving waggle free for me. Wiglet would be good through an I. I'm really going to struggle with this rack if waggle is blocked and nothing new is provided. I'm just wondering if I can play off both G's through this U. I don't think I can. So that's not a helpful vowel. So I'm in my opponent's hands. Great. He plays in column 12. Only scores 28 points. That could have been a lot worse. Hasn't provided anything new for me. And I can sort my rack out in one. And that's a pretty good pickup. I draw the Z, it goes well with the O, and the rack as a whole is balanced. I don't think I have a 7-letter bingo here. And I can't see an 8 either. But it's a nice rack. I could play Zos in column 13, ZOS for a good score. Now, what about column 1? Well, my Z doesn't go in front of the I, so I don't have a play there. What about column 8, getting the Z doubled? Well, I do. I have Sitzes, I think. Not totally sure about that. Sitz is good. Okay. Well. I was going to say I had Caesar. I don't. So, is Sitzes good? And is there a play I'm more sure of? My opponent's taken out the Zos spot. But a play in column 8 where the Z gets doubled is going to be worth a lot of points. So is there a play other than Sitzes, which I'm sure of? I've got Zoster in that spot. But that doesn't get the Z doubled, and this is a pure greed play. But Scrabble is a greed game. Now, Sitz is 75. Sitz comes from Sitz Bath, I believe. So in which case, it may not pluralize. I don't feel great about that. Let me put that back and think. I've got 12 minutes on my clock. Is there a better Z spot? Well, there isn't. I don't have a 7-letter play across here. I don't have any play something S, something Z. I've got Rositz on my rack, but that doesn't play in column 8. Maybe a Sitz is a Sitz Bath. I'm going to try this. And just wait for it to be challenged off. Just waiting. Just doesn't look good. 10 minutes on my opponent's clock, 11 on mine. If it stays on, and it hasn't been challenged yet, then my rack is good. I'm not even looking for a bingo at the moment. I'm just waiting for this to be challenged. Okay. Let me start looking for a bingo. I would have Ialdor Man through the right 2 floaters. But firstly, is there a 7 here? There is. There's Nemoral and Almoner. Almoner plays in column 14 and also row A. So if Sitzes stays on, then I'm bingoing. Is there anywhere for Nemoral? Well, I think Nemoral now takes an S as well, although it might not. The pain. Okay, that's come off. Rats. Okay, so I need to find another Z play, which I failed to do before, which is one reason why I played Sitzes. I didn't have a good second choice move. Sitz does play in column 14, but it's quite dangerous, invites a high-scoring reply. Well, I guess Zoster is the play then in column 8 for 42 points. And that was an expensive blunder because at the moment I'm just 1 point ahead. Great, well Zoster remains available. That is expensive because I was sitting on a playable bingo. Anyway, the advantage of, or one thing in Zoster's favour is that I'm retaining 1S, whereas Sitz is burnt both. So this is quite a good play. 48 points is good. I don't think there are better Z spots around, so I'm going with this. I do not draw a bingo, and I have the WU combination again. However, I have the sub prefix. Sub-wide, not good. I don't think there is an 8 here. There's certainly not a 7. Word is good. I think Roind is good. So I could play dub. It's a priority to split up the U and the W unless I've got a massive score. Now, do I have anything in column 1? Well, my B and my D can go in front of the I. E and I go in front of the F. So I've got DWEEB. Well, keeping WU, but that might just score enough to justify it. Over 40 points, pretty good. My leader, slender 27. Remaining tiles, fairly bingo-y. My opponent could be sitting on a heap of junk if he's got lots of duplicates or both Vs, but take the Vs out and every single tile is bingo-y. Not too many bingo lanes, but column 14 is a really hot bingo lane. And even though it's opening up column 15... Wow, my opponent does bingo. 62 points, so I'm now 40 points behind. So I am quite drawn to DWEEB's. Score is really important. So DWEEB for 42. Now, this is going to take me level. My opponent may bingo again in column 14, which is fine. Good game, he wins. But is there a play scoring the same as DWEEB, but burning the W or the U? Let me just put this back. I've got 10 minutes on my clock. So DWEEB for 42. My opponent's opened up 2 good scoring spots in row A. What can I score for my W? Subdue doesn't fit in either spot. Chow is good, so DEWS would score quite well. That would burn. That would split up WU and also retain the B for going in front of the I. And looking at the remaining tiles, it's B and M which can go in column 1. So let me see what Jews scores. 41, that's an equivalent amount, but the rack leave, probably worse than DWEEB, and I'm burning the S. It's the I, well, the whole combination here, BIU, is really horrible. So I don't prefer that. 9 minutes on my clock. I've got, I was going to say abuse, I don't have the A. I've got wide at A1. Only 30 points, that's not good enough. Well, I'm keeping the sub-prefix, sub-plays in column 14. Now, do I have anything through the Y of runny? I've got the by prefix. I don't think by side is good. In any event, that would keep WU. I've got weird on my rack. And wide. Well, that doesn't play in column 1 and doesn't score enough elsewhere. Okay, I'm going with DWEEB for 42. Pretty much the worst possible pickup. I dodge all the A's and E's. This is just horrendous. I picked C, V, D, and S. Normally the S would be such a good tile to see. It's not in this instance. Anyway, and I'm only 5 points ahead, so I don't think I'm going to win this game. But what can I score? I think this is the real problem. I think there are very limited scoring opportunities. My opponent could have 7 vowels on his rack. Now my D can go after Royne. But I'm not sure I can play anything. Even a 3-letter play beginning with D. Can I play word or words anywhere? Well, I can play woodoos through the U of rostrum for 20 points. Well, there may be a glimmer of hope if my opponent struggles to score. Of course, he may be about to bingo and just savouring the moment. Waggled is good. I don't have a play in column 9. 8 tiles in the bag, so there is still some gameplay to come. My opponent does have vowels. He burns the V but for only 27 points. So, come on, mouse, move. Right. So, would you for 16? 4 tiles left. So, would use empties the bag. Would you leaves 1 in the bag, but keeps 4 consonants. I don't think I want to empty the bag. 7 vowels out of 11. So I am going to draw 1 vowel. I may draw 3. Playing off the S, emptying the bag, only 2 more points. Would you, I think, has got to be the play. But is there somewhere else for would? 7 minutes on my clock. Not that I can see. It doesn't play under negates. I think this is quite good. The U's not going to be helpful for my opponent. Okay, not great. So these are the final tiles I'll see. I'm 6 points behind. I'm going to struggle to go out in 2 with this rack, which is disappointing. Or am I? Because if I played Vums, I would be keeping C-double-E-S, so it's possible I could go out in 2. And I think I will probably need to in order to win. I have the tiles for Kesvies, but not the right hooks for it. Nice play by my opponent. That's probably good enough for him. Just check all these words are good, and they are. So he's now 30 points ahead. Can he go out in 1? Tala is good. That plays in column 14. Does it play somewhere else? It does. It plays in row L. Can I block both? And is there a 3rd spot for Tala? And does Tala have an anagram? Well, no. So maybe I can block both. And what about a play in column 13? So I could play Mises, keeping CV. And Vac is good. Do I have a second out? No, so my opponent would need to block Vac. So is there something other than Mises? And I'm looking to reach the double word square because I don't only need to go out in 2, I also need to score well. 5 minutes on my clock. Do I have any plays beginning VES? At the moment, Mises is all I've seen. Let me see what that scores. 29 points. Pretty good. But that Well, I think that does block all my opponent's outs. He may not spot Vac. What is better? A play possibly running over the top, but then that's not going to score enough. So I do need to play down here. What about Cess, C-E-S-S-E? Keeping M-V. And again, I don't have the 2 outs. 4 minutes on my clock. So let me see what this looks like. Mises 29. If my opponent blocks Vac, am I stuck with the V? Quite possibly. In which case that would be a pretty disastrous play. 4 minutes on my clock. C and V are both sticky tiles. But if I play Cess, then I don't even have 1 out. So it's Thaler and Tal. Am I needlessly overlooking an alternative out for my opponent? 3 minutes on my clock. Atlas through an S. What is the play? At the moment, my only winning line that I can see is Mises followed by Vac if my opponent doesn't block that. And he may overlook it. Things happen. I can't play beginning with the M across here because that doesn't block Tal. If I play across making Roins, I could play Sev, but then that's not blocking Tals. What about just playing Mess? $18 points, but do I have an out with CEV? Well, I have Cave. Do I have a second out? Okay, no. 2 minutes on my clock. What about if I play Cess here? 18 points. Do I have 2 spots for VEM? I don't think Mave is good, so I don't even think I have 1 spot. 1 minute on my clock. Do I have a play across here? Maybe if I can guarantee an out in 2, it would be better. I could play, well, it has to be from the R, not the T, or the M. What about a play? Well, I can't play MES. 1 minute on my clock. CMV are just awful tiles. It's a shame because I do have Cuvées through the E, through the U rather, but then that doesn't block Tal. Okay, I think, well, it's not a matter of thinking. I do have to play something. But what? So MES. Well, no, Tal then plays. So that's the same problem with Mises. Yeah, Mises Tal does play. 30 seconds on my clock. $20 seconds on my clock. I'm going to hope my opponent doesn't spot that Tal now plays. So he's got 4 minutes to play tile. It's a 3-tile overlap. This is pretty desperate on my part. I burnt up all that time. I couldn't find anything. If my opponent doesn't go out, I'm playing Vac. And if I can't play Vac, I'm completely stuffed. Still looking around in case there's somewhere for C and V, apart from Vac. My opponent may not know tile, may not be sure of it. In which case he may not have realised he had an out at all. Anyway. So, is there anywhere for my V or my C if Vac is blocked? I've been looking for the V, but not the C. And if my opponent hasn't seen an out, he probably will look around to see if I can go out. I'm just 3 points behind at the moment. I'm just wondering if my opponent plays at beside me, sees whether that'll be enough for him. He'll get 12 for that, so he'll be 15 up. Vac scores 8. Yeah, I think even a non-out will win for him. Anyway, quite a close game. And it always feels like you've been punished when you've played a phony, but sometimes you just do, and sixes was very tempting. And because sixes isn't good, it means, and it's not simply putting an S on the end, it means that you won't have studied it if you only study words which are good. So 2 minutes on my opponent's clock, 14 seconds on mine. And I think I may have to pass if my opponent blocks Vac and doesn't go out. Is there really nowhere for my C? Oh, I've got back. I'll play back. Anywhere else? Cox and Vox both blocked. I'm just looking for my C. Yeah, can't see anywhere else for the C. So I'm playing Vac or back at the moment. And if my opponent doesn't go out, I'll need to move pretty swiftly with just 14 seconds on the clock. He's running his clock down to the wire. I'm still looking for spots for my C or V and see nothing. It's quite handy having this second spot. Yeah, he goes out. So, pass to end the game. Okay, so the final score, 384 to me, 417 to my opponent, a winning margin of 33 points, so well done to my opponent, a really close game. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played Plod. I then have Lithoid and Dithiol, nothing else on offer. My opponent does well, spots a bingo from an unpromising looking rack. This was my rack. Ah, there was a bingo here. Quatting. Agony. Agony. Okay, well done if you spotted that. That's pretty annoying. And cat playable at H1, which I didn't see. What did I do? Something quite lame in comparison. Quit for 23. Yep. My opponent plays Ain. I then have a whole bunch of bingos. Geminate, L8. Ah, through the M. And I played negates for 68, so there were a few more points on offer, but Geminate would have opened up column 15, so I quite like negates, not much between those plays. My opponent plays Kero. I have Pelagic nowhere for it. A whole bunch of plays in the 20s. I played Cappy, which looks as good as anything. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Kif. Horrible rack for me. And I have Hex for 37, but with a dreadful rack leave. My opponent plays Jai, which is good for me because I'm able to play Waggle for 22 and the extra 21 points on offer. Well, I think 21 points might just about be the difference between these two rack leaves, so I certainly prefer Waggle. My opponent plays Roin, and this is where things don't work out. I'm only 1 point ahead. I've got 48 points for Zoster, and I'm greedy. Ah, look at that. There was a play. Ritz's Agony. Ritz's was the play, and it would have been better than Sitz's, even if Sitz's had been good, because it would have retained the S. So, pretty poor show there. My opponent plays Runny. I still have Ritz's, but plays Zoster. And at this point, I'm 20 points ahead, but my opponent has a great rack, Bingos. And I have a grim rack. I played DWEEB for 42, horrible rack lead, but nothing obviously better. Not a great rack for my opponent, but he's got a 30-point lead, and I draw very badly. Scuds A11. Ah, pretty good, but does empty the bag. However, 35 points, quite a lot. What do? What do for 16? What rack was that from? Yeah, maybe it would have been better to play words and keep the U, since I'm so short on vowels. Okay, interesting. This is my opponent's rack. He plays Bazoo, and now I'm 32 points behind. A14 Smeeze for 36. That's not enough. Tal will win. Yeah, none of these plays really deal with this Tal threat. So I play Mezzies, and wow, my opponent did just have the one out. So, what if I'd played CE double SE, which I think I considered. Okay, so CE double SE keeps VM. I don't even have an out in one, but I do stop my opponent from going out. Well, I think everything I do is losing. Unfortunately, the game does have a time clock, so you can't spend forever thinking about a move. Anyway, quite a gnarly game at the end there, and blotted somewhat by the earlier miss of Ritz's and play of a phony, but this is what happens in real games in real time. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.